I should have wished to be rich, but felt it was too self-serving. I should have wished for fame, but felt I'd lose privacy. I should have wished for world peace, but felt one country's peace could be another country's poverty. I cursed the day I met the Wishmaster, and even more so for the perfect wish I thought I'd come up with. I would like to become a master of language. The Wishmaster hesitated and asked, "Of every language?" I nodded. The wish was educational in nature, so it couldn't have been purely vanity pushing me to become an expert linguist. The wish could have not possibly affect anyone adversely, for it truly only affected me. The sole purpose of the wish was to further communication, and perhaps close the global gap just a bit by having someone act as a language liaison. How long does it take for somebody to become a master at something? Confused, I responded with, I mean 10,000 hours of deliberate, focused practice is the rumor. The Wishmaster was silent. Then 10,000 hours of deliberate, focused practice, and you'd be a master at language? I suppose so. But that's only considering one language at 10,000 hours, right? I shrugged, but agreed. I was unsure where this was headed, until I noticed the wind slowing to a stop. A stillness. The ambient white noise of the city was now deafening silence, and suddenly I was whisked from being face to face with the Wishmaster and into my own study, armed with a pen, a pad of paper, English dictionary with the doors shuddering locked. Again confused, I asked aloud to no one in particular, "What's going on? Why am I in this house and why do I have a dictionary in front of me?" A disembodied voice responded, "This is to give you the deliberate, focused practice you need. I figured English would be the easiest since you already speak it." "I'm sorry, I don't understand what's going on. I wanted to be a master at every language. What does this have to do with anything?" The voice ignored. "From there, we can move language by language in alphabetical order. I hope you're looking forward to Afrikaans after the first 10,000 hours." And the Wishmaster has been silent ever since. I should have wished to be rich, for fame, for world peace. Instead, I'm frozen in time, studying until the Wishmaster deems me an expert. If the metric is 10,000 hours, that's a little over a year for each language. This may be fine. I mean, how many world languages can there really be? "Will it hurt?" I remember asking. That's the only thing I wanted to know. "Excruciating pain," he said, his hoarse voice barely audible. "So much pain." He handed me the vial. It looked so innocent. A silvery liquid. That's not how I imagined poison would look like. It should be dark, putrid and repugnant. "A drop is enough," he whispered. "But for torment extraordinaire, I suggest using it all." I listened to him, absent-mindedly, as he explained the intricate nuance of the potion, my mind wandering relentlessly. Hate and despair, the dominant emotions, the only emotions. When we finished his lightly explanation, I nodded weakly, and handed him the envelope. Transaction complete. I hurried out of the alley, the foul stench of the horrid cloaked figure following inexplicably into my car. This was it, my ticket to freedom. "Late as always, you ugly hag," Rob said as I entered, a horrid smirk on his wrinkled face. "Sorry," I mumbled, stomping to the kitchen. "I'm hungry," he snarled. "Get a move on." I made something simple, something with a lot of flavor to mask the taste of the poison. A casserole seemed to be the obvious choice. Just a drop. Careful, careful. Oh no, there went the whole vial. Dinner time. About time, Rob said, a spoonful in his mouth, before I even set his plate down. A minute later, and it was empty. It tasted like shit, he grimaced. What did you put in this thing? I felt a bitter taste in the back of my mouth, adrenaline pumping through my system, my heart beating in a frenzy pace. Enough to kill you, I replied. Gah, he coughed. What did you do? I killed you, I murmured painfully. But something felt wrong. The room was spinning, colors flashing in violent intervals, a pain in my chest like I'd never thought possible, like someone grabbing my heart with their bare hands, squeezing the blood out of it, sharp fingernails digging into the muscles and tissue, ripping it into unrecognizable pieces of raw, dripping flesh. The darkness, nothingness, death. Ah! I screamed as I woke up, but there was no sound, just an empty echo inside my head. The torment was unreliable, indescribable, every single pain receptor firing at once. What did he tell me? What did he tell me back there in the alley? The poison will kill you instantly, but the beauty of this isn't death. It's the undeath. Necromutation. It will redirect all energy in your body to stop your brain decomposing. Keeps your brain alive for months after death. Imagine that. Imagine the torment. Lying paralyzed in your coffin, feeling your body decomposing around you. Months of constant, unrelenting consciousness. True torture. True beauty. No, you did this, Rob's voice echoed in my mind. And now you're trapped here with me. No. Months together in this tiny coffin. No. I'll make you feel every second of it. I can hear her quietly crying in her bedroom. She'd been there for hours. I call out to her through the door, ask her to let me in, to talk to me, to let me explain everything. She just won't listen. I hear her voice quiver, her mumbling through pained sobs. Her footsteps dart around the room twice before the door slams open. She passes by me, ignoring all my attempts to stop her, my pleas to slow down. Her rushed steps lead her outside, into the thick of night. She jumps into her car, slamming the door behind her with a clenched yelp. I rush to the passenger seat, begging her to listen to me, but she wouldn't. Her face is streaked with tears, her eyes puffed and bloodshot. She steps on the gas, driving recklessly down the familiar streets of our own small town. I lower my voice. I try to calmly talk her out of this dangerous behavior, but it falls onto deaf ears. I feel my eyes, well, looking at the love of my life in this horrible state. I did this to her. I may have blamed so many others once, but nobody else is to blame, only me. An overwhelming sense of guilt washes me as she picks up more speed. Scanned cars driving this late in the night honk at her, barely dodging her menace swerves. A man yells from a vehicle, calling her different types of slurs. She doesn't seem to care. She keeps driving. She presses the brakes on the middle of the bridge. The car screeches, abruptly stopping. She leaps out of the car, leaving the door open. I open my mouth to ask her what she's doing. I almost utter my concern for her safety if she keeps stepping on the brakes so violently. But that is when I took a look out the passenger window and realized how familiar this place was. My stomach turns. I see her making demonstrative steps towards the edge of the bridge. My eyes widen as I leap out of the car, screaming at her to stop and talk to me. She isn't listening. Before I have a chance to reach her, she already climbs over the slippery bars, holding onto the outer side of the railing. I hold my menace dash. Feeling my knees give, she sobs twice, turning her head towards a wreath of fake flowers tied onto the railing next to her. Her lower lip quivers. She looks downward towards the turbulent river and screams into the night. She cusses at me, insults me, calls me horrible names. Tears streak down my face without stop. I see her hands loosen their grip and her wailing body plummet. I weakly stumble forward, empty and defeated, placing my quivering hands onto the railing. I look down at the river in which my love jumped, the river in which I jumped.